श्रीराघवम् दशरथात्मजमप्रमेयम् सीतापतिम् रघुकुलान्मयरत्नदीपम् आजानुबाहुम् अरविन्ददलायताक्षम् रामम् निशाचर विनाशकरम् नमामि नमामि नमामि
Ramakatha Rasavahini. Chapter 11, Part 2. Though he had lost a kingdom and had to exile himself to the forest, Rama's face shone like the moon behind the thick dark clouds, unaffected by the black veil. The splendor of his countenance was unaffected, for he faced honor and dishonor with equal serenity. He behaved like a veteran yogi, with no trace of agitation in thought, word and deed. He walked as if nothing had happened to cause him worry. However, Sumantra guessed that some transformation had happened inside the palace. The guess soon grew into certainty. When his eyes fell on Lakshmana, his heart suffered a shock. To add to his fears, Rama brushed aside the white umbrella that was held over him by the attendant. He ordered that the ceremonial whisks not be used for him. He declared that he did not deserve the silver chariot anymore. Sumantra lost strength of body and will. His worst fears were confirmed. Rama didn't speak a word to those around him or to the citizens he met. Not that he was sad, no. He knew that others will be hurt if they heard the news. For if he spoke, he would have to speak the truth, and he would be spreading sadness through his words. In spite of this, his style of walking back to the palace announced the sad news to all onlookers. Rama didn't go directly to Sita's apartments. Instead, he walked to Kausalya's palace, which was resplendent with flags and festoons and other marks of jubilation. The women and other attendants of the palace got intimation of the approach of Rama and Lakshmana. They readied lamps on plates and arranged themselves in rows to welcome them. Old and trusted guards at the main entrance rose sharply when they espied the brothers and exclaimed, "Victory! May it be victory to you!" They bowed low and offered homage. When Rama entered the second square inside, the Brahmins who had gathered there showered their blessings on him. On entering the third square, the young maids in attendance rushed in, carrying the happy tidings that Rama and his younger brother were arriving to offer reverence to the mother. They themselves were delighted at the sight of the princess. From the outer door right up to the mother's room, maidens standing on both sides of the long passage waved ceremonial lamps as signs of welcome, to ward off evil and welcome joy and prosperity. Queen Kausalya had observed vigil all night, preparing for the holy day that had dawned. She was engaged since dawn in worshipful rites. Aged Brahmin priests were propitiating the god of fire with Vedic hymns when Rama was announced. The mother was overwhelmed with joy, since she could witness with her own eyes the coronation of her son. She had been celebrating her joy by means of several rites and by giving away plentiful gifts. She had fasted and kept vigil. Spiritual bliss was enough food for her, the bliss she shared with all. She ran forward to clasp Rama in her arms. She caressed the curls on his head and led him by the hand into the shrine room where she was spending the morning. She had no knowledge of the somersault events had taken. Innocent and simple-hearted as she was, she wore the white sari of purity, and with the sacred silk cord tied round her waist, she was gratefully engaged in worship of the gods. Looking at Rama's face, she noticed an added splendor illumining it, so she could not contain within herself her bliss. "Son," she said, "your forefathers were all royal sages. They were strong upholders of right and were Mahatmas each one. You shall be as long-lived as they, as renowned as they. Your glory must reach the ends of all the quarters as their glory did. Son, follow the ideals of righteousness held high by this dynasty. Do not neglect them, even in a fit of absence of mind. Hold on to them without wavering in the least." She placed a few grains of rice on his head, in token of his blessing on the auspicious day. She placed a golden seed near hers, saying, "Son, you observed the ceremonial vigil last night, didn't you? And you fasted yesterday, according to rule. You must be exhausted. Sit here for a while and eat a few fruits." So saying, she held forth a gold plate of fruits that she had made ready for him. Rama was thrilled by the spiritual bliss of the mother and the love she showered on. He was wondered how he could communicate to her the turn of events. He was unwilling to destroy the atmosphere of joy. To give her satisfaction, he sat on the golden chair, fingered the contents of the plate and said, "Mother, from this moment, I should not touch gold. I should not sit on golden chairs. I am awaiting your blessing, for I have to go in exile to the Dandaka forest. I came to you to take leave." Kausalya couldn't understand a word he said. She could only say, "Son, within a few minutes you are to be crowned king, and you talk of the Dandaka forest? I can't make sense of what you say." She thought her son was teasing her with a joke. "Son, in this auspicious hour, even in fun, you shouldn't talk of things of bad omen. Give it up, my lovely gem." She scooped with her fingers a little from a plate of rice, boiled milk sweetened with sugar, and placed it on Rama's tongue. Observing her love and her bliss, Lakshmana's eyes were spontaneously filled with tears. Kausalya noted it, turned to him and asked, "Lakshmana, why are you sad?" She hurried towards him and tried to caress him, but Lakshmana couldn't suppress his grief any longer. He wept aloud and sobbed. The queen stood aghast, not knowing why he sobbed. Rama's words and Lakshmana's grief confused her much. Rama interceded. Mother, if you promise not to grieve, I will tell you one thing. He held her hands in his very firmly. This will endow me, you and our entire family and dynasty with imperishable glory. So don't give room for any anxiety, doubt or distress. Agree to it with alacrity and affection. Doesn't it give great joy for me to obey father's command? He has resolved to crown my brother Bharata. He has also resolved to send me in the habiliments of a hermit into the Dandaka forest for 14 years. I have bowed to his command and I came to take your leave. Kausalya shrieked, "Rama!" and fell on the floor. What turn of events is this? Is my tender child to be sent into the dark jungle? What crime has Rama done to deserve this? Can this be true? Or is it meaningless jabber coming out of my own brain since I had no sleep and food? While she was trying to explain to herself and consoling herself, the happenings at Kaikeyi's palace had spread throughout the zenana, and the noise of wailing and lamentation rose from maids and attendants everywhere. All faces streamed with tears and great sorrow. Cries of "Rama, don't leave us!" were heard on all sides. Grief-stricken groups hurried to Kausalya's palace. Kausalya was overwhelmed with astonishment, sorrow and fear. She could not unravel the mystery of it all. She could not rise from the floor, for she was weighed down with anxiety and despair. Nevertheless, she longed to understand what had really happened to cause this universal agony. She drew Rama onto her lap. Caressing his curly hair, she asked, "Son, what is this I hear? This news? Tell me clearly what took place. I cannot bear this suspense any longer." Rama told her. Honoring the two boons that father had promised Kaikeyi once upon a time, father granted her those two wishes. Rama told Kausalya that the first boon she was granted was Bharata to be crowned, and the second was I should be sent to the forest for 14 years. Kausalya exclaimed, "Rama, did Kaikeyi really demand such boons? Kaikeyi had unbounded love and affection towards you. She would not have wished for these things any day. Even if she has, I am sure it must be only to test the king. For this simple thing, why should there be so much confusion and anxiety? Or, assuming she asked for the boons, would your father agree to grant them? I refuse to believe this. Would your father, who cannot tolerate your absence from his presence for a single moment, send you away to the forest for 14 years? This plunges me into more confusion." Seeing his mother doubt the truth of the incidents that actually took place, Rama again held her hands in his and pleaded, "Mother, believe me, father had already promised to grant her whichever two boons she desired. After she asked for these two, he had no inclination to break his plighted word, nor could his mind agree to order me into the forest and be without me. He is suffering great mental distress. I can't bear the sight of his affliction. I just returned from that palace. He is stricken unconscious and is terribly anguished. This is the truth. I am not so cruel as to cause such anxiety in you over a light laughable matter. Believe me, I accepted father's order and I came for your permission." Rama fell at her feet. Kausalya lifted him tenderly. Rama, what strange behavior. However barbarian a person may be, will he demand these horrible boons? Can any human being ever think of sending you, who is to be crowned in a few minutes, to the forest for 14 years? Am I to suffer throughout my life? I got a son after observing many a vow and ritual. Looking on your lovely face, I overcame the pangs of those years of sorrow. I have no other desire. I ask for no other boons. Enough for me if my son is with me, near me. I have become unfit for this little gift. Did I deliver a child only to throw it into the forest? Would any mother agree to send her son into the jungle? Alas, what sin did I commit in the past? In which of my precious lives did I keep a mother apart from a son? Since the day you were initiated into Vedic studies, every moment I derived happiness from the thought of your coronation drawing near. Have those sweet dreams of mine come to naught? Have all my hopes been dashed to the ground and broken into pieces? Have all my vows, vigils, rites and rituals I so scrupulously observed and performed for ensuring your joy and happiness been in vain? Oh, what a big sinner am I! Why hasn't my heart broken on hearing this news? Perhaps I have to hear and bear many more heartbreaking news. Death doesn't help me. My heart still beats in spite of this shock. Alas, even death awaits the allotted moment. He comes, but on seeing my plight, leaves me alive, postponing the moment of my release. Yama has no mercy towards me. I am undeserving of even the realm of death. O Rama, that this calamity should happen to us. Kausalya lamented and fell on the floor in a faint. Coming to, she rolled on the floor, pressing her heart with the palm of a hand. Rama couldn't quietly look on the scene. The wailing of the maids who gathered around blasted his ears like thunderbolts. Rama didn't utter a single word. He sat near his mother and stroked her forehead. He brushed away the dust that covered her clothes. Like a huge well-set rock struck deep in the sea, Rama sat unhurt by the lashing of the surging billows around. He was above and beyond the blows of grief and blandishments of joy. He was filled with as much equanimity now when he had to leave for the forest for 14 years as he had a few moments ago while going to the court hall to be crowned ruler of a great empire. Kausalya knew that Rama would never swerve from his path of duty, that he would never break his plighted word, and that he would not stray a hair's breadth from the path laid down by his father. She was certain that her lamentations would not induce him to turn back, so she gave up all attempts to persuade him to give up his resolution. Son, what use is it to blame others when one is destined to meet these tragic developments? No, it is sheer waste of words. Everything is for our own good. No one can say no to the dictates of the divine. I have had no happiness in this Ayodhya, in this palace. I can be happy only where my Rama is. So, I will come with you. Take me with you. She attempted to rise on her feet. The maids held her and seated her leaning against the wall. They spoke softly and sweetly to bring her round. Lakshmana watched Kausalya's anguish and listened. He couldn't control his emotions. He was bursting with anger. Holding his hands tight over his chest, he said, "O revered mother, I will never accept this. Is Rama to leave the kingdom and betake himself to the forest yielding to the prattle of a woman? I can't tolerate it. Father has become too old and his mind is unsteady. He is entangled in sensual pursuits and has become a slave to Kaikeyi's enticements. He has no sense of discrimination about the consequences of his actions. He is liable to issue any kind of order in his infatuation. Orders of such type should not be obeyed. The king is in a state of feeble-mindedness, unable to distinguish between the real and the unreal, the momentary from the momentous. When such rulers give orders out of infatuation, they can well be disobeyed. What crime did Rama commit that he should be sent into the forest? Even Rama's cruelest enemy, if he has any, or even the most hard-hearted barbarian suffering punishment for his crimes, can't point his finger at the slightest slur of his behavior or action. No king on earth has the authority to drive a person of such unquestioned innocence, purity of intentions, and holy sanctity into the forest as an exile. Rama is steady in a straightforward path. He is the master of his senses. He honors and treats with respect enemies of every type. Will any father drive such a son into the jungle? Moreover, the king is most attached to dharma. He is a hero full of sacred ideals. He is an adherent of the best in all faiths. Can such a king issue this command? Judging from this, it is certain that Dasharatha is either insane or enslaved by passion. Any command from a person who is either of these is unworthy of consideration. The words of a king who behaves like a lunatic or an infant need not be honored at all. Forgetting the dictates of political morality, giving up the path of worldly wisdom, throwing to the winds the demands of paternal affection, he has become mad, giving free vent to his whims and fancies. Need his command be treated as valid? I won't agree that it should be respected. Lakshmana turned towards Rama, clasping his hands in reverence. Rama, pardon me. Assume the rulership of the realm before news of this spreads and becomes known to all. I'll be by your side with my bow. Whoever stands up against you will have to meet arrows from this bow. Of course, there is no such in Ayodhya or elsewhere. But if any opposition develops, this great city will become a desert with no human inhabitant. My sharp arrows will see to that. Why repeat 1,000 things if Bharata or anyone on his behalf opposes? I will destroy him, root and branch. I don't care, even if Dasharatha stands forth as Kaikeyi's supporter in the struggle. I will capture him and shut him up in prison. While Lakshmana was holding forth in this strain, Rama looked at him sternly, intercepting the flow of his feelings and admonishing him. Lakshmana, your words are crossing the bounds. No one can deny me what I wish. None can change the march of my will. My exile in the forest cannot be avoided. Your talking is prompted by your love towards me and the desire to prevent your separation from me. Forbear. That will save you against all anxiety and fear. Be patient. Don't get agitated. Don't entertain ideas of hatred either father or brother Bharata. They are pure, holy persons. Kaikeyi is also highly venerable and is to be honored and worshipped. The boons she asked are also blameless. She loved me, caressed me, fondled me, nursed me, played with me, derived more joy from me than her own son Bharata. When the mother prays today for such boons from father, boons quite contrary to the ways of the world, surely there must be some hidden significance in the affair. This must be the divine plan, not mere human tactics. Be quiet. Give up your fears and hatreds. We will await what happens next. End of Chapter 11, Part 2. Sai Ram.
सीता राम सीता राम सीता राम राम सीता राम सीता राम सीता राम श्री राम जी की महिमा अपार राम जी की महिमा अपार सुन लो तो बेड़ा पार सुन लो तो बेड़ा पार श्री राम जी की महिमा अपार राम जी की महिमा अपार श्री राम नीरज नयना मुखारविंदा श्यामल छवि अति सुंदर राम करुणा स्वरूप श्री राम निर्मल स्वभाव श्री राम करुणा स्वरूप निर्मल स्वभाव भक्तों के प्राण गुणशीलवान नीरज नयना मुखारविंदा श्यामल छवि अति सुंदर राम रविकुल मंडन दशरथ नंदन मुनि मनरंजन नयन विराम श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम जी की महिमा अपार राम जी की महिमा अपार जय जय श्री राम जय जय श्री राम जय जय श्री राम जिनकी कृपा ने आखर बितारे एक ही बाण ने दुष्ट संहारे नि सा गा म प नि ध प ग सा नि सा ग म प नि प सा स प नि प म प म ग म सा नि प म नि प म ग स ग म प नि नि द द द प जिनकी कृपा ने पाथर बितारे एक ही बाण ने दुष्ट संहारे चरणों की धूल ने पापी उधारे जन्मदिन उन्हीं का मना लो आज जन्मदिन उन्हीं का मना लो आज मुबारक हो सबको जन्मदिन की रात रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम राम सीता राम सीता राम सीता राम राम सीता राम सीता राम